Hello, everyone. This is Charles. Welcome. I wanted to bring you here to All News Pipeline. It's quote the best mix of hard-hitting real news, and it's always been my contention that this side, along with many others, are no more than gatekeepers. They only give you half a loaf. They come across as if they're really telling you the way it is, but they really aren't. And I'm not going to read this whole thing, and I'm pretty sure you're probably glad I'm not going to. But these people believe in free speech and all this blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to bring you down here to this woman, Susan Duclos. This fellow here, calling himself Freedom Dad, he made this comment. People seem to forget that this is America, the greatest country in the world. We are proud and we are strong. So I read that and I just couldn't help but comment. I said, please, the U.S. used to be a great nation. The U.S. has been under the control of the secret society. Gingrich just reminded those who have ears to hear and eyes to see who controls the U.S. and Europe and the rest of the world through various means. Read The Economic Hitman, etc. And JFK warned us about in the 1960s. This knowledge of the secret society has been around for a long time. This is nothing new. Our fathers may have died to keep us free, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can read it. And then here comes Susan Duclos, and she defends this guy, and she comes after me. And I wanted to bring you to my other video that I did regarding Susan Duclos on the All News Pipeline. And this one's called "The True Vipers Are Not the Islamic Terrorists." I'll put a link to this video. And the point I want to make here is that these sites point people in the wrong direction. They get you off the track. And in these times, things are getting so important that you cannot be sidetracked onto the wrong enemy and the wrong issues. There's issues that need to be addressed, and everybody's afraid to address it. Well, not everybody, but on these, what's now becoming the mainstream alternative sites, are no better in a lot of ways. In fact, are worse than the mainstream media that are controlled by this certain group of people that you're not allowed to mention. And I'm not mentioning their name on purpose. And those of you with ears to hear and eyes to see will know who I have in mind when I mention that certain group of people. And I don't need to say any more about that for those of you who are awake and aware completely. And I say, okay, fine. She basically, her story is that people. Let me back up here. And here's what I said: if you're free, why not post using your real name? What are you afraid of that you need to comment under a false name so no one knows who you are? If you're free, why not show it in your actions? And then Susan Duclos comes on, and she says that a lot of people post under a fake name because they're getting attacked and harassed and forced to move, etc. And she gives some examples. And I said, so, and she comes back. It wasn't enough just to come after what I said twice. And so she comes back after me again. And so I respond. I said, thank you, Susan, for reinforcing my point. If one cannot speak his or her mind without fear of consequences, we are not free. The First Amendment is out the window. And I go on. I won't read it here. And then she comes back. If anyone can speak their mind, there are always consequences for what is said or done, whether they be good or bad consequences, Charles. So she's giving me a little lecture, okay? And she has to come in here, and I won't bother you with it all now. But okay, saying, and here's the point I want to get to here: saying what wants, that is freedom. Being an express an opinion is freedom. Then this is what she says. So I say, looks like you support freedom of speech. Then why did you ban me when I posted under an assumed name? I was civil, truthful, non-troll comments for saying what I wanted to say, but you disagreed with what I said. I had to create this account to post here again. Be consistent, Susan. Allow opinions and comments you don't agree with so as to promote honest debate, and you and I will get along just fine. And then I go on to comment about the issues that she says she want to get back to. And then she comes back on again, and she says that she bans come to trolls who, one, attack or are uncivil. Well, she just attacked me and what I had to say. And then, or attempt to use sock puppet accounts in order to trick readers into believing more than one is saying the same thing. 3, spammers. And 4, those who have been banned for attacking, then change names to come back later, or instead of simply emailing, agree to be civil, having the bans lifted, as you should have done. Yeah, and you can check many threads. We have multiple people that disagree with our position and each other, but they do it civilly. Blah, 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 blah. So now that you've admitted what we already knew, that you deliberately bypassed a ban, well, now you can email, agree to stop duplicating accounts to allow the simple, easy rules, or comment elsewhere. So I put this in, wasn't involved in any of the above. I didn't do any of that. And I didn't know about emailing and probably wouldn't have anyway. My guess is the ban was easier because the ban was against an anonymous poster, whereas this time I'm using my real name. And as you can see here, she banned me again. She is inconsistent. She doesn't give a rat's arse about free speech and about posting opinions of other people. And the reason she doesn't like me posting on her site is that I bring up these people. The reason that Susan Duclos has banned me, at least the first time, is because I dare to criticize those who rule over you. They don't allow any mention of who's actually doing what's being done to us. They will use euphemisms. They, the powers that be, the elite, the New World Order, just like Alex Jones. So this whole article here on All News Pipeline is basically about ISIS and who's behind ISIS. And I'm telling you that this is pretty easy to find out, and it's pretty obvious to anybody. ISIS is actually Israel and the United States. And here's the evidence. And I know this is only one piece of evidence, but I'm not here to prove all this to you. You'll have to look into this on your own to get the 2 or 3 witnesses to confirm this.
This is a 1990 Book Notes excerpt where Brian Lamb interviews authors Dan Raviv and Yossi Melman. The book title is Every Spy a Prince, The Complete History of Israel's Intelligence Community.
Plots against the state of Israel, political plots and others.
You tell the story about how you tried to find out what they call the Mossad when they deal with publicly?
I thought it was a reasonable question, but the trouble is you can't pick up the phone book. There's no Langley in Israel that you can look up, CIA, or in our case, the Mossad. We thought we should ask, what shall we call it in English? You can translate the Hebrew words, as I said, Mossad is institute, but when they write a letter to their friends in the CIA or the British intelligence, what do they call themselves? It took a while. It was a matter of asking the Prime Minister's spokesman. The best you could do, because officially the Mossad is under the Prime Minister's office. And I think he sort of wondered why you want to know and all that, so we explained. And he came up with the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. I mean, if it were to have initials, it would be ISIS. Just simple words like that. Interestingly enough, kind of a British model.
Folks, if I can come over here and bring you with me, and we can learn about who ISIS really is, then why do they have so much problem on All News Pipeline to bring this up? And I would submit to you that the reason they never bring it up on that site or many other sites, another one is Hodges, Dave Hodges. You'll never hear him mention these people by name. To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you are not allowed to criticize. So I'm going to go back here to this site, and I'm going to do a Control F to see if we can find a certain word on this page. It's in the left corner. You can use Control F. You can find any word on the page, and I'm going to type in this 3-letter word, and the only time you see the 3-letter word, or the first time you see it, is in the comments, and it's referring to me. All right. They have Jewish and Christian's name, but they are neither Jewish nor Christian. That's the only time that word is mentioned on the entire page, and it has to do with me, and I posted this video here. And this is why Susan Duclos doesn't want me on her site, because I'm the only one who brought this point up, and it refutes everything that is in that article there, that ISIS is created by the Muslims, and it's absurd to think that Clinton and anyone in America is behind ISIS. Well, folks, they are. And Israel is behind ISIS. Israel funds ISIS, and that's why the Russians had to go in and had to take care of ISIS, and they are doing so now. The United States and Israel is attacking Syria, and they're going to attack Iran next, and probably Russia. And Russia, Iran, and China, in some degree, and Syria if they have to fight back. And that's what needs to be brought up here on these kind of sites. But women like Susan Duclos won't allow that kind of talk, those kind of comments, that kind of view on their site, and that's why you're going to get banned. And here's another one. These people link to each other. This is from Stephen Quayle's site, and they link. All these gatekeeper sites link to each other, and they feed each other, and it makes it look like they're in the majority, and that this is the way most people believe and think, and that you're just like everyone else. You agree and you're right, but you're not. See, here they are. They all link to it and support each other. The first video is from an InfoWars featuring Doug Hagman with Alex Jones. And you'll hear these videos, watch these videos, and they'll never mention the real problem. They never mention the real source of the problem, the people who actually rule over us, because they're not allowed to. And if you go on their site and you bring up the real source, those who rule over us by name, and you point them out, you will be banned. I'm going to bring up another example here. Here's Dave Hodges on the Common Sense Show, and here's an article that he just put out a week or so ago. George Soros is telling America to buy gold and take their money out of the banks before it's too late. You're not allowed to expose who he really is. You can criticize George Soros, but you can't point out the group of people that he belongs to. I'm going to go down here to the bottom here in a moment, but before, on our way down, let's look at this. This article, Hodges admits George Soros owns this woman, referring to Clinton, who will soon own you after the next general election. So George Soros owns Clinton, and then Clinton's going to own you. So George Soros and his group are going to own you. Who's in this group along with George Soros? Let's go down here to the bottom on the left. I'm going to push Control F, and I'm going to type in what group of people George Soros is involved in, and you'll see that when it turns red, that means this word is not even used on the page. And why is it people like Susan Duclos on All News Pipeline and Alex Jones and here Hodges, they never mention this fact? And if they would, every time they did an article on one of these people who happens to be a member of this group, then people would start to get the picture because they could connect the dots. And when you start connecting the dots, like some of us have done, and some of us have an understanding about who actually rules over us in this world that we live in. I don't mean that in an ultimate sense. There's one person who rules over me and has control over the entire world, and these people are under all of that. And I look to my God, who is in ultimate control, and these people are going to get their due come soon enough. But I just want to point out that you can't mention who is actually behind what's going on in our country on these sites. All News Pipeline, the Hodges, Alex Jones, and there's Quayle. You can't bring it up. I want to thank you for watching. Please, if you do, like, share, and subscribe. For more information, visit charlesfolkart.com and keyrexreplies.wordpress.com. See ya.